So we're talking about awakening your clairvoyance and spiritual sight. And the thing about this class is it's based on the different aspects of the sun. And with that, it's deeply associated with the archangel Metatron. Metatron being the angel that is responsible for bringing things from the other side of the veil. And, you could say is the archangel in charge of essence or the light. And then it also Metatron also has a twin, Sandalphon, which is in charge of the form. So it is tied to a very deep level of the creative process. Um, and with that, for us to be able to have a deeper level of the creative process, not just seeing the details in front of us, but seeing the details of light or essence. And so, on one level, you could say it's the kind of sight that helps you recognize patterns that in your life are causing suffering and like how to adjust them. Intellectually, a lot of times we go, if I do this and I do that, this is probably going to make it stop. But we really don't see it in a three-dimensional way. We don't see it in a way of like how it plays out. We just kind of come to it as this is what I would like to have happen. And sometimes it improves it a little bit, but sooner or later that pattern arises somewhere else in our life and, it's off to the races again. And so this is about being able to recognize things. And it doesn't mean like stirring things up in you. It's just being able to go like, oh, if I do that, bad things are going to happen, or this isn't going to play out, or this person's going to get super angry at me, and almost like have like a foresight, like, you see it almost before it happens. And so this is why it's referred to as spiritual sight, is it is about being able to put yourself in the right place at the right time. It's a deep mystical practice that a developed soul puts themselves in the right place at the right time. And you know, it even goes beyond the idea of synchronicity. It is a level of creative flow that is beyond the senses, is probably the easiest way to say it. And the way that I like to talk about it is like, say you had a desk with a bunch of things on it, and all the activities of your life are based on what happens on this desk. The good things, the bad things, the things you need to take care of, the things you want to do, things on your bucket list, all these different aspects. And things keep going, and when you get them done, they leave. But a lot of times with intellect, the things just keep piling up. And intellect, the way that intellect tries to resolve the problem is let's rearrange these things so that it looks orderly, right? I'm going to put these kind of folders here. I'm going to put these papers here. I'm going to, stick this other stack of papers over here. I'm going to stick envelopes here. And then time goes by and the desk is fuller than it was. And so then until that goes, well, I need to rearrange it and then it will make me feel better. And then you rearrange it, uh, and you feel better. But the papers and the files and everything are still stacking higher and higher, right? And intellect doesn't really resolve that. It is that creative flow. It is that when you are taking care of business, that is not intellect, it's intuition. Sometimes you're doing things with intellect, but that flow is an intuitive flow. Intellect is very slow. It takes a lot of time to do very, very little. Intuition is very enthusiastic and takes care of things without really even thinking about like, well, I don't know if I like this or, oh, what should I do about this? It just takes care of business. And intuition goes through and doesn't rearrange the desk. It takes care of things and it empties the desk. That's the difference. Intellect, always rearranging. Intuition cleans off the desk. And in life, Most of the things that cause us suffering is the rearranging of the desk. We think that it's different, it feels better, it looks different, it makes us feel a little better, but really it's the movement of clearing off that desk. And so, this idea of waking up your clairvoyance and spiritual sight is being able to see the desk for what it is, what needs to happen. So then you just do the things you know how to do, and the thing is when we start tapping into the intuitive mind, we're way more capable than our intellect realizes. Intellect really gives us a very short-sighted point of view in everything, in how to solve a problem and how to interact with the world, how to do things in friendships. And it also gives us a very short-sighted view of how to clean off the desk. It doesn't really do it. You know, in mystical practices, when people come from the point of view of intellect, I had a guru that used to say, it's a lot like a child playing with dolls. You just kind of arrange things and you want things to kind of be your way, like you're having a little tea party, but all you've done is arrange the dolls. You want to get out and live life. And that living that life is that flow of intuition, that movement, even with intellect being there, you're still involving that intuitive mind. And it's not an either or, it is a harmonizing of the two. The more that you develop your intuition, right, the intuitive mind, problem solving, innovating, overcoming obstacles, learning, the stronger and the more precise your intellect becomes. It's not an either or, it's not a shooing away of intellect, it's also a refining of intellect. So hopefully you can join us.